Good afternoon on what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Monday the 4th of March and I'm in the reading it with a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. So this has come from Kickstarter, so I have a good idea what this contains. And I can't show you. Show you, so I'm going to take it out of the box. And it is this Call of Cthulhu Arkham. So, unveil the secrets of the haunted city. On the streets of Arkham, the threat of the Cthulhu mythos is ever present. A quiet town in New England, home to the prestigious Miskatonic University, Arkham's underbelly hides criminals, speakeasies, and a witch-cursed history. Arkham is the definitive guide to the signature setting of Call of Cthulhu. A sandbox campaign setting for Call of Cthulhu, the history of Arkham and Miskatonic University, details 9 neighbourhoods with over 290 locations described. New skills and rules for Arkham investigators, more than 80 fully detailed NPCs, gossiping rumours to use as scenario seeds for original stories, street and neighbourhood maps, as well as numerous floor plans of key locations, 2 Arkham City map posters, one for players and one marked with information for the keeper, a poster-sized newspaper prop of the Arkham Advertiser. For mature readers, contains mature themes and is intended for mature players. This supplement is part of the Arkham Unveiled line. It's designed to use for both the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game and the Pulp Cthulhu supplement, both available separately. And we've got an explanation of what Call of Cthulhu is as well on the back. So there we go. So this then is the latest iteration of essentially the presentation of Arkham as a location to be played and explored in Call of Cthulhu. Now, Arkham has always kind of sat at the heart of the Cthulhu mythos. It's the home of Miskatonic University. All key locations in the stories of H.P. Lovecraft and others, and it's a setting that Call of Cthulhu authors have returned to time and time again. And not just Arkham, but the surrounding towns of Dunwich and Innsmouth, essentially all of those that make up the what's known as Lovecraft country. So yeah, I mean, essentially with this is what it does is it adds a sense of place to your campaign. Not something necessarily that Call of Cthulhu does, because it's really primarily been a collection of campaigns and scenarios which involve the characters moving around a lot, rather than being in one location and playing from the investigators moving around a lot, and rather than sort of like, staying in one place, or having a base and moving from there. And that's what Arkham does. Arkham essentially gives you that possibility of a base of operations, but one replete with numerous links to the Cthulhu mythos. And given that it's only sort of like 250 years old, if that 200 years old, it is, heavily influenced by the mythos. So we open up. Let's just show you this, and then there's something extra there. So what we've got here. So I'll show you this first, and that is the Arkham Advertiser. Essentially. There we go. Just basically a newspaper kind of handout, done on newspaper print, with all the content you would expect in a newspaper at the time. Really tiny type. They're really difficult to read if you've got old eyes. But the other thing about it, this adds a great degree of verisimilitude to the book, to the setting, because here's something from Arkham itself. I mean, to be fair, this is not new. There has always been a newspaper, a copy of the Arkham Gazette, with whichever version of Arkham you purchased, going all the way back to the 90s, with Keith Urban's first volume of the late great Keith Urban, first volume of Arkham Unveiled, which Arkham Unveiled was the original title of the Arkham source book, and then essentially it's been used and acknowledged as part of the line for source books and materials set in and around Arkham. And the great thing about this is that This is released for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition, but that does not invalidate any of the previous content set in Arkham, in around the city, and so on. You can still all use that. So, for example, you can go pick up a copy of New Tales of the Miskatonic Valley, and it's got scenarios set in Arkham that will just essentially slot into the setting without any problems whatsoever. It's got the credits, okay, and I know there's a couple of dedications there. One which was in the original 1991 version for Keith Herber, and then one which Mike Mason dedicates to the memory of Keith Herber, much missed. And then we have a clear credit page, which essentially acknowledges the history of the product and those involved in its creation. That's a great step, a great inclusion. I'm really glad that's there. And then we have a table of contents, Century Forward, overview, Arkham Investigators, Miscellany, Guide to Arkham, appendices, and so on. And here we have a view into Lovecraft Country, essentially a part of New England, with the kind of typical box bridges that you get in the region, that it is famous for. We've got an introduction, content warning forward, including basically, so we've got an introduction. The introduction is by Mike Mason, who is the line editor for Call of Cthulhu, the Chaosium, and then we have an introduction also from Keith Herber, reprinted from the original. Again, nice acknowledgement of the history of this product and what it contains. Then we get into the overview. Arkham, so history, where it is, its geography, its involvement in history, going from King Philip IV, 1666 to 75, dealings with the indigenous peoples of the region, and also the colonists, boundaries, and we're looking all the way up to Arkham in the 1920s. We're looking at things like town festivals, law and order, use of firearms, generally the sort of thing that the keeper's going to know or need to know in order to run a campaign set there. We have a regional value map of the Miskatonic Valley, travel times throughout the region and beyond. Got to look at crime, following the law enforcement section, because essentially you've got quite a lot of crime going on there with Dan O'Bannon and so on. Then we move on to Arkham investigators, so we've got a typical investigator there, armed with his Tommy gun, ready to strike at the Mythos, of course. So we're looking at essentially sort of like investigator types and what you can have, and significant people, lists of options what you can go for, like significant persons, who and why, meaningful locations, that kind of build into the background of the player characters of the investigators when you create them. So what's being done here is you are tying them closer to the setting of Arkham, rather than keep sort of making it broad and tying it to just the world in general. Then we've got Arkham skills, so we actually have a history and a navigate skill for Arkham, knowing how to get around the twisted cities and twisted twisted roads and alleys. New skills, reassure, guide and religion, and then we've got improving investigator skills. And then reputation. Again, these are optional, but reputation is kind of important, I suppose, because essentially, if you're going to be living in Arkham as an investigator, you're going to have a reputation to in the town already, and then from that, your actions are going to affect that reputation, and that's going to change and fluctuate over the course of your investigations. So we've got breakdown of investigations there. And then we've got clubs, societies, investigator organisations, so some typical organisations that player characters the investigators can belong to. Universities ones, religious ones, and so on. The Miskatonic Ladies Shooting Club, great one for your female investigators. Some really good artwork as well. I do like that. It's and then we go on to Arkham Miscellany. And this is a really fantastic, colourful treatment of the source material. We start off with getting around, accommodation, map of the town centre. So this could be whether you're a native, whether you're moving there from another area, finding employment, and then things like finding experts and getting help, cultivating contacts. I mean, essentially helping yourself to get your investigator and embed them into Arkham life. And then options there for character investigator weapons, what to do with a pulp campaign, pulp Arkham, gossip, but these all can be used as characters. A nice piece of artwork, a bit of a whispers going on there. So you've got rumours in Arkham. We've got a nice little bookmark there. And then other organisations that the investigators won't necessarily be aware of. So initially, like the Arkham Coven, Arkham is famous for its witches, including some quite notorious, essentially figures within the mythos, like Chaosium Mason. No relation. So there we are, different members of the Coven. Basically nicely given thumbnail illustrations and full stats and backgrounds. A nice shot there of Arkham Station if you're arriving. Lots of a bit of energy there. And then we have the guide to Arkham itself. So it's going to look at the different neighbourhoods, starting with streets and alleys, and essentially you've got an Arkham directory of the boarding houses, cemeteries, education, clandestine locations like Fenner's Roadhouse, the Speakeasy, Sycamore's Speakeasy, so on. So locations where your investigators might go for a quiet drink, very quiet drink, because of course this is a period of prohibition. It's got a list of restaurants, financial services, newspapers, private residences. It's actually just with religious organisations, public services and utilities, societies and clubs. Things that player characters can go and do visit, buy from, deal with university buildings, and then we've got another nice shot. There's actually a public park there with a bandstand, with performance going on there. Turn over the page. Pages are sticking together because it's a brand new book. Yeah, stick together. 68. Come on. Excuse me. Cold fingers. There we go. So, and then we move on to the different neighbourhoods. So we start off with North Side. Again, with a nice overview you can easily read and also get a feel for, because if it'd just been a flat map, you couldn't sort of kind of get a physical feel for it. But with the kind of isometric map there, a view, it gives you a better idea of what it's like. So that's North Side. You've got a list of points of interest below. And then we move on to a section on Arkham Sewers, because hey, I'm gonna remove this because this is going to fling out. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Because presumably at some point the investigator is going to go into the sewers, presumably after ghouls or something similar, and then various NPCs to be encountered in the neighbourhood, in places, and then particular locations to be discussed. Like for example, 105 Folger's boarding house. Little quick description. We got a box there out for the Arkham Amateur Theatre Company. Basically your investigators could actually go and be a member of that. More NPCs. So we've got details of Speakeasy. And we've got, you know, recognisable names in here from the mythos, from the stories. So, for example, Tillinghast is a recognisable name. You recognise him from the story From Beyond. The Tillinghast Resonator. Basically, and we've even got a little bit of mythos here, sort of like, you know, with a imperfect resurrected thing. And we've got another location. We've got the greasy spoon, pickpocketing bum. So based on NPC, sorry, not location. Downtown. There's downtown Arkham. And Pickering, psychopathic hospital, sanatorium. So if your investigators play their cards wrong, they may well end up there. Details of Miskatonic Public Library, not as good, of course, as they're going to be as the Miskatonic Library. I've got a list of films of the 1920s. I guess there's going to be a cinema. I've got Telenews Cinema on North Garrison Street, given there. So you've got a list of cinema, and then a list of movies and films that the investigators might go and see. But that's only just a short list, because there were numerous films made during the period. And then Arkham Police Station. And the staff there. Some who may know more or less about the crime going on, and more or less about the mythos as well, but can't do anything about it. And of course, if you're that way inclined, you can get a tattoo at Paintless Tattoos. East Town. Again, really like the maps. And we've got more mythos in elements. So it's basically the jailer Beatrice Allen's mind in Ellen Crawford's body, and the prisoner Ellen Crawford's mind in Beatrice Allen's body. Merchant District. Goody Fowler's ghost. She certainly appeared in more than one scenario, I believe, and there's an unnameable monster on the loose as well. Merchant District, docks and warehouses, because the other thing to bear in mind is that actually Arkham is not just a town in Lovecraft Country, it's a port. It's a river port. So you've got a map of the wharfs and warehouses. You've got an overview there as well. And then we actually move on to a particular criminal organisation in the town. That's Dan O'Banion's organisation, all its members there. Basically, who are providing all of the gin and whiskey and so on for the town as running, as well as engaging in other activities. And then we have another location, unconsidered trifles in the Merchant District. And then we've got a list of sort of like things that can be found there, and a fully mapped location, floor plans, and what might be found there. And then besides the sewers, you've got the tunnels under the town. You've got a section on the Arkham's tunnels with details of a typical Arkham creeper. And then Rivertown, another nice map. Flyers, things like the Arkham Gun Club, and a lecture at the Amara Society, Eye of Amara Society. The Whitechapel Mortuary, should the player characters, the investigators need that. the Arkham Naval Campus, surrounding the area around the Miskatonic University. So you've got a directory of the university itself and the surrounding buildings. Now, the university itself is actually worthy of a supplement itself, and that's been revisited a couple of times in Call of Cthulhu. And we've got some noted figures from the Mythos as well. So Nathaniel and Wingate Peasley are recognisable from Mythos stories. Another section on the Orne Library. So I think that's going to be with LeBron Shrewsbury there. And we've got a full list here. Here we've got, that's actually Dr. Henry Armitage. And then we've got new tomes there to be found in the Orne Library. So we've got a special restricted list, aka the restricted section. We've got a section of that as well. But again, the Miskatonic Light University deserves almost its own supplement. But I'm sure that will come in due time. Who knows about the Cthulhu Mythos? There we go. Basically, there are people who do know about it. Obviously, Dr. Henry Armitage is the most notable, and we do have floor plans of the Orne Library as well. And the University Exhibit Museum for all manner of occult and weird things that the player characters and investigators can find, with a floor plan. A discussion of what a student's life is like. So you could attend Miskatonic University, you could go as a student, engage there, so on. French Hill, one of the famous neighbourhoods of the town of Arkham. More locations, more NPCs. And then we have, let's see what we've got in here. We've got East Pickman Street boarding house, Dombrowski's boarding house, the Witch House, complete with floor plans. At where Walter Gilman stayed, and it was basically inveigled and possessed by Keziah Mason. And her foul little familiar there. Oh, there we go, Brown Jenkin. Imperial Theatre for various events. And then we've got Uptown. Famous as the home there of the Derby family, including, of course, Edward Pickman Derby, painter. And then Lower South Side, home to Arkham Historical Society. And the Eye of Amara Society. We've got a flyer for that earlier on. The Italian Club. Somewhere for the player characters and the investigators to hang out, especially if they're Italian heritage. We've got Arkham site plan for the Christchurch Cemetery. Bound to be ghoul infested. And the town dump. This is on the outskirts. And then we move out, so essentially we've got a highway map of Arkham and portions of Essex County, so we've got a wider map there. Marked with distances away, radiuses, so basically by squares and then radiuses away from Arkham. So various locations outside it. including Fenner's Roadhouse, a location sort of like for clandestine meetings, mentioned earlier, listed earlier at the back of at the start of the directory. Further out, we've got a map there of the Blasted Heath. Crownshield Manor. And encounters with the colour out of space, the infamous Astley Waite, and the Goody Fowler, also the Goody Fowler Cottage. Including a list of her grimoire and Snakes of Massachusetts. And then Arkham Airfield, because it's a modern city. And then you want to the appendices. Arkham names in a chronology, Lovecraft in chronology. So you've got to put this essentially nicely. This puts all this in a bit of context, and essentially in terms of the fiction, game aids, the Keeper. You've got weather generator, Arkham reputation table, distances and so on. Generic NPCs. So a list of those. And then bibliography and resources. Nice touch again. Bibliography, we've got Mike Mason, and then of course Keith Harbour himself, and then the index. A couple of adverts at the end, of course. You've got a 1920s. You've got index of maps and tables as well, as well as the standard one. And there's the investigator sheet for the period. I've got a couple of adverts for Chaosium products there at the end, as to be expected. But the thing that fell out is this poster map. Two poster maps. So what you've got here is this is double-sided. So you have a the Town of Arkham street plan. And on the back you've got Arkham and outskirts, and basically reprinting the map from inside the main book. And then you've got a second one. This is I'm trying to find it. Okay. Arkham street plan. This is going to be for the Keeper. And nicely, almost done like a fold-out handout you might find at basically at the station, where you might go, oh, here's the town map, that sort of thing. Because you've got the little adverts at the bottom. Basically, local businesses would want to put on the map, so that people go, okay, what do I need to find this? Oh, there's also an advert for a shoe seller. I need to go buy some shoes. That sort of thing. I don't know about shoes, but or a book seller. So on. And there's a map of Massachusetts for 1922. So, two double-sided maps. In the back of the book, you've got a newspaper in the front. This is a very nicely done, well-appointed book. If you are at all, in the sense there's nothing necessarily immediately playable, by which there's no scenarios, nothing like that, but you can go and find that very, very easily. But this will lay the groundwork for the Arkham Unveiled line, the groundwork for any campaign you are running in Lovecraft country. So that's Arkham, Call of Cthulhu, the latest book from Chaosium. Thanks for watching what is another long unboxing in the Nook. If you enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be able to see more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a parcel containing a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.